Hi guys, in this video we're going to be discussing the principles of conservation of momentum. We're going to be looking at collisions as well as explosion. So please stay tuned. Now, what is the principle of conservation of momentum? So in our case here, we will be studying collisions as well as explosions. So the total momentum before a collision or explosion is equals to the total momentum after a collision or explosion. The first thing for you to note is that these events are the center. So when we say before and after, we are referring to the collisions as well as the explosion. Now there are two types of collisions, namely the elastic collision as well as the inelastic collision. We'll go through the differences later. And then explosion is a separate occasion on its own. So once again, the principle of conservation of momentum simply states that the total momentum before a collision or explosion is the same as the total momentum after a collision or explosion. Let's look at elastic collision. A collision is said to be elastic if kinetic energy is conserved. Now, in the syllabus of SPM, the collision is said to be elastic if it moves separately after the collision. That means it comes together to collide, and after that, it moves as two separate objects. So if we have a tennis ball, you throw it against the wall and then it bounces back. So it moves separately. So the two objects here will be the ball and the wall. So when the ball hits the wall, it moves in different direction after the collision. And then another example is billiard balls colliding, billiard or pool or snooker. So when the balls collide and then after the collision, they move separately. So this is categorized as elastic collision. In the elastic collision, kinetic energy is always conserved. What does this mean? We have to remember that momentum is always conserved. No matter what the event, the momentum before and the momentum after is the same. That is why it's called conservation of momentum. Momentum is always conserved. Total energy is also always conserved. Conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So the total energy before an event and the total energy after an event is conserved. It has to be the same. However, kinetic energy does not have to be conserved, because kinetic energy can be transformed into a different kind of energy after the event. However, in the case of elastic collisions, kinetic energy is always conserved, meaning that the kinetic energy before the event, before the elastic collision, is the same as the total kinetic energy after the elastic collision. Let's look at this example. So let's take two objects. So whenever we are dealing with this topic here, it always involves two objects. So here we have object 1. Let's treat the red ball and the blue ball as two separate objects. So the red ball has mass m1 and speed u1, and then the blue ball has speed u2 and mass m2. Here u is used for initial velocity. So the velocity before the collision is represented by u. So here momentum is the product of mass and velocity. If you haven't seen my video on momentum, the link is at the corner. Momentum is mass times velocity. The momentum of the blue ball is m2 times u2. So we have m2 times u2. Again, here is very important to remember that we are talking about the total momentum. The total momentum before the collision is conserved. So we have to add the momentum of both objects. That is why we have m1 u1, which is the momentum of the red ball, plus m2 u2, the momentum of the blue ball. So this is the total momentum before the collision. What about after? So let's say this ball hit the blue ball, and after the collision, both are still moving in the right direction, and now we have the final velocities. Now the red ball is moving with velocity v1 and the blue ball is moving with velocity v2. So v is used to represent final velocity. U is for initial velocity, v is for final velocity. So v will be the velocity after the collision. Now again, the total momentum after collision will be the sum of momentum of the two objects. So here the momentum of the red ball will be m1 v1, m1 times v1, and m2 v2. m2 v2 is the momentum of the blue ball. So this is the total momentum after collision. And now we have the total momentum before and after the collision, and we can apply the principle of conservation of momentum that states that the total momentum before the collision has to be equals to the total momentum after the collision. Once we put in our values, this is the formula that we get. m1 u1 plus m2 v2 equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Keep in mind that velocity is a vector quantity. When we are dealing with vector quantities, we cannot leave out the direction. The direction matters. So here, direction is represented by positive and negative, because in this case, we are only talking about linear motion. They are only moving in a straight line. Positive and negative are arbitrary assignments. Now, generally, we take right to be positive. So if right is positive, then left will be negative. And again, generally, we take up to be positive. If up is positive, then down will be negative. So in this case, all the four velocities are towards the right, and therefore all are positive. However, if we have a case like this, if u2 is moving to the left, then you must not forget to write negative u2 when we insert the values later on. And if v1 is towards the left, same thing. It must be negative v1 when we put in the values. So don't forget that we are dealing with velocity, vector quantity, direction is important. Now let's look at inelastic collisions. For inelastic collisions, the objects move together after the collision. The kinetic energy is not conserved. That means the kinetic energy before the collision is not the same as the kinetic energy after the collision. Why is this so? Let's look at the real world examples. So one of the examples is that when a car collides with another car and the cars stick together after the collision. That means after a car crash, and then they move together after the collision. So they don't separate. They crash and move together. Okay. So what is happening here? Some of the kinetic energy will be converted to heat energy and sound, and the energy that is used to get the work done of crumpling the car. So energy has been converted here from kinetic energy to many different forms of energy. That is why kinetic energy is not conserved in inelastic collisions. Whenever objects move together after collision, then you are to assume it is inelastic collision. Another example is when a bullet hits a target. So if a bullet hits a target, it doesn't go through, it stays there. So here, when it collides, after the collision, they are considered as one body. They move together. And this is an example of inelastic collision. Let's look at what's happening before a collision. So before the collision, similar to elastic collision just now, one object will move towards the other object. So they can either be moving towards each other, or they can be moving the same direction as well. As long as u2 is slower than u1, they will collide. So here the total momentum before, similar to before, we take the momentum of the red ball, m1 u1, and then we add with the momentum of the blue ball, m2 u2. So this is the total momentum before the collision. However, after collision, they are going to be sticking together. So they move as one body after the collision. So here we have again m1 v1 and m2 v2. This is the total momentum after collision. But since they move as one body, their speed, their velocity is exactly the same because they are moving together. So we no longer have to differentiate v1 and v2. We can simply represent the final velocity as v, since both objects travel at velocity v. So instead of v1 and v2, we can write v here, and since v is the same, we can factorize v. So this is what we get when we factorize v, m1 plus m2 v. Using the principle of conservation of momentum again, total momentum before collision is the same as total momentum after the collision, and this is the formula that we get. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to m1 plus m2v. No need to memorize the formula here. As long as you understand what is going on, total momentum before is equals to total momentum after, then you can arrive at this formula fairly quickly. Once again, we cannot forget that velocity is a vector quantity, and so direction is involved. So whenever we have an object moving in the opposite direction, we must not forget to include negative when we substitute the values inside. That's all about elastic and inelastic collision. Let's look at explosion. For explosion, the two objects act as one body before the explosion. Always we end up with two objects. So initially the two objects are one. Before the explosion, they are together. So after the explosion, they will separate in opposite directions. In collisions, they don't necessarily have to be moving in opposite directions. They can be moving in the same direction, either before collision or after collision. Of course, for inelastic collision, they are moving together. But in explosion, after the explosion, they are definitely moving in opposite directions. And here once again, kinetic energy will not be conserved. Remember, momentum is always conserved, total energy is always conserved. However, kinetic energy is not conserved here because kinetic energy once again will be transformed into another form of energy. So the kinetic energy before and after will not be the same. The examples, everyday examples of explosions. Now here explosions, you have to remember that it is the concept of explosion that we are exploring here, not a literal explosion. So any object that starts together and then after the explosion separates, after the event it separates, it is known as an explosion. For example, the launching of a rocket. So in the beginning, the two objects here will be the rocket and the hot air that escapes the rocket. So in the beginning, the rocket and the air are one. They are considered as one single object. But after the launching, the hot air will be propelled downwards and this will launch the rocket upwards. So this is an example of an explosion. Another common example is the firing of a gun. So initially, the gun and the bullet are one and the same object. They are treated as the same object. They are together. However, after you fire the gun, the bullet moves forward and then there is a recoil. The gun moves backwards. So this is considered an explosion because first they are together and then after the event, they are moving in opposite directions. Let's take a look at the objects before an explosion. Before an explosion, we have the red ball and blue ball. So their momentum before is still m1u1 plus m2u2. However, before the explosion, they are stationary. They are together and they are not moving. And so u1 and u2 will both be 0. Because they are stationary, their velocity will be 0. And of course, that will mean that the total momentum before the explosion will also be 0. After the explosion, they will both move in opposite directions. So one, we have moving the blue ball moving to the right and the red ball moving to the left. So the total momentum after the explosion will be m1 and negative v1. Negative because it is moving towards the left. Arbitrarily, we take left as negative. And then we have m2v2. m2v2 is the momentum of the blue ball. So the total momentum after explosion will be negative m1v1 plus m2v2. By the principle of conservation of momentum again, total momentum before the explosion must be equals to total momentum after the explosion. And so when we substitute, we get 0 equals to negative m1v1 plus m2v2. And when we rearrange this formula, we simply get m1v1 is equals to m2v2. That's it for today, guys. If you've learned something, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. See you in the next video.